Let's go. Wait. I gotta start the song over.
Hey, what's up everyone? It's Ryan here from The Y, and today we're gonna be taking a look at Baby Driver. In an era of way too many remakes and sequels, Baby Driver stands out as a breath of fresh air. Whether you want to call it an action musical or even a car chase symphony, I think the main takeaway is that it's just a fun-ass movie. The dialogue is entertaining, the car chases actually look realistic, and while the love story may be more on the fantasy side of things, it certainly doesn't lack in style. Without further ado, here it is, 30 facts you didn't know about Baby Driver. The inception of Baby Driver can be traced all the way back in 1995, when Edgar Wright was just a struggling 21-year-old filmmaker living in London. Right around the time he was putting out his first professional film, Wright found himself listening on repeat to the John Spencer blues explosion, and specifically the song Bell Bottom, Spider Love. There, laying on his bed and contemplating what he was doing with his life, the song awoke within him a vision of the iconic opening scene we know today, a bank robbery leading into a high-speed car chase, perfectly synced to the chaotic rock and roll ode to the 70s. By 2003, Edgar Wright was no closer to developing the thought he envisioned when he was approached with an offer to direct a music video for Mir Royale's Blue Song. Seeing the opportunity as sort of a dry run for the movie he eventually hoped to make, Wright basically created the opening scene of Baby Driver, which unexpectedly went on to become a major success. Surprisingly, this all left Wright feeling a little frustrated, as he couldn't shake the feeling that he cannibalized this idea with enormous potential and squandered it on music video. Though in the years following, he realized that the success was merely proof of concept, and there was still much more to be fleshed out.
That's my baby. Your baby.
In a show of great attention to detail, whenever baby's listening to music, you're only one earbud. If you're wearing headphones or has surround sound, you'll hear the music, you're only the corresponding ear.
Are you a mute?
No.
During the opening chase, you can just make out the flash of a camera as Buddy plows through a red light. A few scenes later, the picture that was taken appears in the news report. Seeing as the coffee run is one lone traffic shot and spans the course of nearly 3 minutes, it's only fitting there were a lot of takes before they got things just right. In total, they shot the coffee run 28 times, with take number 21 being the one you see in the film. In addition to the coffee sequence being perfectly choreographed to the rhythm of the music, many of the lyrics to the song are spray painted on the walls and sidewalks. This is with that Michael Myers. That might matter. The Mike Myers mask was easily one of the best jokes in Baby Driver, and it nearly played out a tad differently. The original version saw 2 of the criminals wearing Michael Myers masks, while one messed up and got the one you see in the film. Unfortunately, after being unable to obtain legal permission, the Halloween masks had to be sidelined. As we all know, JD was killed for being absolutely incompetent at his job, and after compiling a list of his blunders, I can definitely see why he had to go. First up, he got Mike Myers masks instead of Michael Myers masks, and not only did he get the wrong ones, but JD also bought all 3 at the same time, which he was expressly told not to do.
The dress code is the Michael Myers Halloween mask, but don't all buy your mask at the same time. It looks suspicious.
Then he forgot his shotgun because he was the sole person not wearing a shoulder strap.
I left my shotgun behind. What? I left my shotgun behind.
For some reason, JD decided not to cover up any of his highly identifiable tattoos. And finally, the man was even hiding behind when they were stealing a car. John Hamm as Buddy was special for 2 major reasons. He's the only person whose character was rated specifically for him, and additionally, the only one for the first table read who made it to the film. Okay, so I haven't gone and checked every single gunshot in the movie, but more often than not, the gunshots are synchronized to the sound of the beat. The security guard pictured here was played by Joe Loya, the film's technical consultant and a former bank robber himself. Loya is estimated to have robbed around 30 to 40 banks, made off with $250,000 before getting caught and spending 7 years in prison. When Baby flips through the channels on TV, he repeats every piece of dialogue later on down the line.
You are so beautiful.
You are so beautiful.
How's that working out for you?
How's that working out for you?
They grow up so freaking fast, don't they?
They grow up so freaking fast, don't they?
You can look at this in the same vein as to how Buddy records what people say and then mixes it into songs. Only with this, he's sampling dialogue from TV and then mixing it into his own life.
You and I are a team.
You and I are a team.
Don't feed me any more lines from Monsters, Inc. It pisses me off.
Out of all the stunts performed in Baby Driver, one stands above the rest, taking place in a narrow alley and within mere feet of two separate cars. The 180 in, 180 out stunt is one that's rarely, if ever, seen in movies, and all it took was 6 tries to pull it off. I just wish we could have seen the full shot. Edgar Wright explained how there was little to no CGI for any of the car chase sequences. It was almost all done practically and with the help of a stunt driver on the roof of the car. Anytime there's no background music, you can hear the very faint ringing of baby's tinnitus. From the very beginning, the character of Joseph was always intended to be a deaf African-American man in his 80s. There was just one problem. Very few actors pick a bill. In fact, when Edgar Wright began auditions, he noticed a worrying development. C.J. Jones was the only actor who was actually deaf. Everyone else was just pretending to be, and that made him feel extremely uncomfortable. Luckily, Jones was more than suitable, and even spent a number of months teaching Elgort sign language, further deepening the chemistry. At the start of every heist, Baby plays the zombies picked out and the robbery commences. Simple enough, yet in terms of the cinematography behind those scenes, the timing had to be flawless. For example, the song Bell Bottoms accompanied the first heist, and both took 5 minutes to complete. Though, as Wright learned filming the second heist, it wasn't always going to match up so smoothly. What happened was, the song they intended to use, titled Neat 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 by The Dam, runs about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And after the robbery, the car chase, and all the stunts in between, there was simply no way they were going to make that time limit. So Wright had a decision to make. Was he going to change it to another song? Have it in silence for the rest of the scene? Nothing really made sense till the solution hit him like a ton of bribs, because the heist centered around the plane getting ruined and having to find another car. It followed that Baby would have to rewind the song during the carjacking to regain a feeling of normalcy. Whenever Jamie Foxx and Kevin Spacey were in frame together, Edgar Wright always joked that he was shooting a double Oscar shot. More on that point. Wright explained that due to the precise nature of his films, improvisation is usually frowned upon. Though because Jamie Foxx is Jamie Foxx, he was given a bit more leeway, allowing him to improvise lines such as the following.
You hear that, Steve? That's some Oscar shit right there. That was nice.
Edgar Wright and James Gunn are close friends, so when they found out that Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Baby Driver were being released within 2 months of each other, they thought, shit, I hope we're not using any of the same music. What followed was a series of Twitter DMs, in which the 2 directors didn't want to reveal the specific tracks they were using, yet still had to make sure there wasn't any overlap in terms of artists. Notice in this shot how there's a black heart and the graffiti on the wall. Well, fast forward a couple seconds to Baby spotting Deborah the first time, and the heart magically turns red. Likely for the first time in filmmaking history, when Edgar Wright sent out the script to prospective actors, he included with it an iPod containing a number of songs, with instructions on the feedback corresponded to. One day, after getting out of his car in a parking garage, Edgar Wright noticed something he'd never seen before. On the car next to him was a sticker that said, Baby on board, with a picture of Baby's face taken straight from a movie poster. Knowing he had to acknowledge but coincidence somehow, Wright left a note on the windshield that read, from the director of Baby Driver, I approve, complete with his autograph.
Everybody wants happiness, nobody wants pain. But you can't have a rainbow without a little rain.
This line serves as a bit of foreshadowing, seeing as right before the bake heist, it starts to rain.
Chance of scattered thunderstorms throughout most of the day.
And then, when Baby gets released from prison, he finally gets his rainbow. One scene almost didn't make it in, and that was the foot chase. Wright recalled how the studio kept asking him, do you really need this sequence? To which he responded, it's my favorite bit in the movie, and it'll probably be everyone else's as well. So yes, I really do need it. Still unconvinced, the studio refused to pay for something they deemed unnecessary, so Wright in turn had to give up a portion of his directing fee to fund it himself. At the end of the foot chase, Buddy destroys Baby's iPod and with that, his rhythm. So in order to regain some semblance of a beat, Baby checks his pulse. Following the release of the film, Edgar Wright expanded on Baby's backstory in two major ways. One, he uses burner phones and iPods instead of a smartphone, so he can't be trapped. And two, all those iPods you see, Baby didn't actually buy. Wright explained how because he's been stealing cars since he was 12, one of the perks of the job is that he get a lot of free iPods and sunglasses.
One of these days, baby, you're gonna get blood on your hands.
At the diner, Darling warns of the dangers of messing with Buddy.
Because when he sees red, you'll see nothing but black.
Fast forward to shootout with the cops. Buddy looks at the red taillights before he makes them see black. Skipping ahead to be chased in a parking garage, Buddy is still seeing red, only now the whole thing's symbolic of a bullfight, and more accurately, the bullfight that played on TV. Notice how Buddy drives a Dodge Charger and how the program stated,
"He's had his tries from horseback. Now he must try to end this on foot."
And lo and behold, after unsuccessfully finishing off Buddy with a Ford Bronco, Baby gets out and ends things on his own 2 feet. Like many Edgar Wright films, color was a big component in telling the story of Baby Driver. And one of the main ways they accomplished this was by color coding each of the main characters. Purple and pink for Darling, blue for Buddy, red for Bounce, and black and white for Baby. As he can see, Baby's co-workers all dress in bright, vibrant colors, while he dons the exact opposite. This, of course, was all by design, with the intention being to make a clash of colors that paralleled Baby's reluctance to join the criminal world. Further illustrating this point are the changes that occurred to Baby's outfit as things began to spiral out of control. Mainly, the blood on his shirt and even a graying of the white color were both used to exemplify him going down the rabbit hole. The postcard that Baby receives from Deborah should look somewhat familiar to you, as it's the same image plastered on the wall of Bo's Diner. Let's just say that Baby Driver ends on a somewhat ambiguous note. In black and white, Baby leaves prison and is greeted by none other than Deborah. The scene then transitions to full color, and it's happily ever after. Or maybe not, as many believed it too good to be true, with Deborah lying outside, in their vintage car, and with the dreamy rainbow backdrop. Interestingly enough, the first cut took place all in color, yet after showing it to test audiences, there was simply way too much discussion over whether the scene was real or not. So Wright came up with the idea that if he made it go from black and white to color, the resulting effect is that the scene goes from being a dream into reality.